Hi everyone, my name's Ashley. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am creating a flawless full coverage look today. If you guys want to see how I created this look, then just keep on watching. Alright, so we're gonna get started with foundation. This is our full coverage look today, so if you guys have any blemishes beforehand, I would definitely suggest to conceal those. You can use any type of concealer or even your foundation as a base. You can just spot touch that with your sponge, or even with just like a brush, you can kind of just go in there and dab on the product, like if you have any little spots anywhere, just to conceal first for the full coverage look. So I did prep the skin already. We use a moisturizer, and then for the primer today we use the Rimmel Stay Matte. So this one actually works really good. I just put it in my T-zone area, the area where I get the most oily. And then for foundation today, we are going to be using the Huda Beauty. And this one is in the shade Macaroon. So I am going to be using the sponge today. This one is from Juno & Co. It's really good. It's super soft. And so I'm just going to dab in the product. And I just want to pat it all over the face. You really want to work that in and just keep on patting. If you swipe it, it's just going to wipe away the product and it won't blend as well. So I'm just going to keep on patting until it looks really good. This one is very full coverage. It's very nice for any special events. I would say this foundation is probably good for around maybe like 5 hours, I would say. It's not an all-day one, especially if you're oily. I mean, if you're dry, it might last a little bit longer on you since it won't break up the product. But for me, I find that it lasts about 5 hours, which is still pretty good. So you just want to keep working that in the skin, keep on pouncing that on the face. You really want to get in the corners of your nose right here. Just use the tip of the sponge. Just really pack it in there. And honestly, you only really need one layer of this foundation. It literally covers everything, which is super nice. You can buff it in with a brush too if you want, but I find that the sponge kind of gives you more full coverage. It's really nice. Some of the sponges do soak up the product a little bit more than others do, but this one really doesn't soak it up too much, which is nice. I do like to blend down my neck just so everything matches. So just keep on blending, especially with blondes. You want to just be really careful around the hairline. Still patting it in there. And then if you need to spot conceal, you can also conceal on top. So you can just go back to those spots that you want a little more coverage on. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with that. And then next we'll move back to our concealer. I love the Tarte Shape Tape. This one is in Light Sand. It works really well. And then we're just gonna highlight the face. This is very full coverage as well. It works very well to highlight the face. And this will last all day. So if you find a concealer that lasts, or a foundation that lasts all day long, that is awesome. And then you can just use this as your concealer to pair along with it, and then it should last you all day long. I normally use the Estee Lauder Double Wear. That one's really good. and that one does last me all day. So we're just gonna highlight all the high points of the face. Same thing, you just want to pat that in with the other side of your sponge. Just kind of warming the product up on your sponge, patting it in. I like to come up and away toward the temple with the concealer, just because it kind of makes you more awake and just help your eyes to look more open. And I do like to put it on the eyelid just to conceal that down, any veins that you might have in your eyelids. And again, you want to blend that in the corner of your nose as well. And to the other side. And the nice thing about this concealer is it stays wet for a while you're blending it. It doesn't dry down, so you don't have to worry about working too fast with it. It'll just stay where you put it, and if you take a while to blend, it's fine because it'll move wherever you want it to go until you set it down. This is definitely a holy grail concealer for a lot of people. They love this one just because it literally lasts all day long and it's full coverage. If you have any dark circles, it's amazing. If you just want to brighten, it works super well. And I just like to highlight the nose. Forehead. Perfect. And then when you're happy with that, then you want to go to your setting powder. I have the Coty Airspun here. This is the loose face powder there. This one's actually in translucent extra coverage, so it is going to give you a little bit more extra coverage, which is nice. That's what we want for a flawless full coverage look. So we'll dip our sponge straight into the powder. And then I like to do either under eyes or forehead. We'll do the forehead first. Make sure you relax your forehead when you do this so it doesn't create any creasing or lines that you may have on your forehead. It just keeps that neutral so you can set it. And it should stay how you set it down. So then next we will take that again underneath the eye. You want to look up while you're doing this. And this does prevent creasing. The Tarte Shape Tape doesn't really crease, but this is just added coverage and security just in case. And I like to set the eyelid as well. And then if you are dry, you may not want to use as much powder as I'm using. I'm just oily in my T-zone, so I really do like to use a good amount. And when you do use this powder, it really locks it in to make your foundation last. And I actually haven't tried the Huda Beauty with the Coty Airspun, so it may last a little bit longer with this one since it is extra coverage. Okay, now we're done with the sponge, so we'll go to a fluffy brush, powder brush. We'll dip into that same powder and just swipe it on the rest of the face and neck. Alrighty, we are all set down. So next we're gonna move on to bronzer. I really have been loving this bronzer. This is the Too Faced Sweetheart Bronzer. It's really good. It is in the shade Sweet Tea. And we'll use our angled brush here today, and then this one actually does have 2 different tones in it, but I do mix both. And then you want to go on the hollows of your cheek. Kind of just want to build this up to however dark you want it. I like a good amount of product. Just because I am more on the fair side, I like to bronze it up and get a little warmer tone in there. Especially if your foundation is a little bit light for your skin, you just want to bronze it up. And then we're going to the temples. We're going to go a little bit on the temple, jawline, and down the sides of the nose. This does create shadows on your face. And we will do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so when you get to the nose, you can use a smaller brush. I will do that today for you guys. You can just use like a tapered eyeshadow brush. And then I'm just gonna dip in the same bronzer. Let's just make sure nose look a little bit smaller, and then straighter also. If your nose is a little bit crooked or different on both sides, you can create the illusion to make it look the same on both sides. You kind of want to bring it very close to the center of the nose. Don't touch the center of the nose, but you want to bring it in pretty close, just 2 lines basically down the sides of the nose. And then we will blend that out as well. Straight down the nose, and then I bring a little bit under the tip here just to create another shadow. Kind of gives you that more button nose look. Kind of like blend that in down the sides. I don't really have too much product on this brush, so kind of blend that out. And then you can do a little bit around your nose and your chin. Go. And that should be it for the bronzer. Next we will go on to our blush. This one is by the Balm Cosmetics in the shade 12. It's a really pretty like peachy tone. Just gonna dip in there. I'm gonna go to the apples of the cheeks, and then I bring it a little bit right over the bronzer. Definitely gives you more life to the face. I love blush, it's so pretty. Especially this one, it's really peachy and fun and just really pretty. Kind of like to just swirl it in circles. Put a little bit on the forehead just to give you a little bit more color. Just slightly dust. That's looking pretty. I really like that. Gorgeous. So then we'll move on to our highlighter. Today I'm going to use the Ofra Rodeo Dry. This is an all-time favorite by many makeup artists. And then we're just going to use, you can use like a highlighter brush, a shadow brush, just anything really small. So that's going to go right above our blush and bronzer. This one I love, it's very blinding. It's super pretty. This is definitely one of my favorites that I've ever tried. I'm gonna go a little bit above our brow bone there. Depends on how blinding you want it. You don't have to do as much, but these are really nice to build up. You can use a fluffier fan brush that won't give you too much product on it. This one, I feel like the smaller packed brushes, it puts more product on the brush, which gives you more of that blinding look, whereas the fan brush really lightly layers it on the face. And then we will do down the bridge of the nose, just right in between where we contoured the nose. Just have a really light hand with this. And then the tip of the nose as well. Do that cute little button nose. And then I like to do the cupid's bow. Don't go up too high, just the very tip of the lips there. Go. After that step, you can blend it in with your blush brush a little bit more. Just lightly blend that in, and then we'll take our fluffy powder brush again and blend the entire face. Just making sure there's no harsh lines. And then you can set underneath your contour as well, your bronzer shade, if you want, just to give that sharp crease. You would take your sponge and put the powder underneath and let that sit for a few minutes. So I like to just blend the side of the nose where we contoured, just gently dabbing it on there. Perfect. So after this step, we will go on to our brows. We're going to use the Milani today. This one is in the shade Taupe. It is a dip brow product. And then we have our Morphe E29 here. So we're just gonna take this spoolie through the brow, create the shape that you want it to lay in. And then we'll just gently dip into the pot. You don't wanna get too much product on there. When I do this, I like to start on the arch of the brow and just lightly flick down. Just filling in any sparse areas you may have. I really like this, and this will definitely last you all day long. So you just do the tail there, and then you would go right underneath the front of the brow, just creating that straight line right underneath. I just really go where the natural hairs grow. I don't go above it or below it. I just go right on, so it gives you that more natural look to the brow. Same thing with the top of the brow. Just filling it in. And then for the front, you can see it's still a little bit sparse there. Just take a little bit more, and you want to do upward flicking motions. Gives you that illusion of natural brow hairs that are growing straight up in the direction of your hair growth. And then once you're happy with the shape, you just take the spoolie again and gently brush through. And then you just want to make sure they look even and balanced. Make sure they look the same on both sides, or similar at least. Perfect. And then if you want them to stay in place even more, you can take your Gimme Brow. This one is by Benefit Cosmetics. This is just a little tester one. This is in the shade 3. It's a very small little tip. It has some fibers in it, so it kind of gives the brows a fluffier look. But this is kind of like a brow gel almost, so it will make your brows stay in place. So that looks good to me. And then next we're gonna move on to our eyes. So today I'm just gonna use the Naked palette, the original Naked palette. And then we're gonna go to our MAC Queen Supreme. This has a really pretty silver color that I wanted to use today. So we're gonna start off with a fluffier brush just to start in the crease. We're just gonna take the taupe color. This one is called Buck. We're just gonna work that in the crease here. And then I like to switch eyes, so we're gonna do one and then the other, one and then the other, just to give that coherent look. You don't wanna really do one eye, like finish the whole eye and then move to the next, because they could look different. So I just like to blend one side and then we will blend the other. We're gonna do more of a smokier eye today, and then a nice silvery shade on the lid. It's gonna look really pretty. I would say this is more of like a going out look, maybe at night, you wanna go out with your friends, clubbing, go out to a nice dinner. I think this look really works for that. And you can take it as dark or as light as you wanna go. I just like to build this up. This is called a transition shade. So you always want to go for that light nude taupey color, just to blend it out, so then anything on top of it is easy to blend. So then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Awesome, so that's good for the transition shade. And I like to move the motions like how your eye shape flows from the inner corner and then out and up. And then I'm gonna move to a deeper like brown shade, and then we will move to black. You just wanna have a really light hand and kind of just tap off the excess. You wanna work more in the outer corner of the eye here. I like to keep it brighter towards the inner corner so it makes your eyes look awake. And I like to look down as I'm doing the shadows. Just look down into a mirror so you can see your entire lid as you are applying the shadow shades. And then we're gonna move to the other side and do the same thing. Tap off the excess. And then if you're scared with a bigger brush, you can just go in with the smaller one just to detail it a little bit more. If your eyes are smaller, I would recommend using a smaller brush. And constantly just keep the brush moving. You don't want to just like pat it on, you want to just constantly be moving the brush in circles. And then I will move to a smaller brush after this one. I'm gonna go probably about that size, a little smaller angled brush. And then I'm gonna go into the black color. Just take a really light amount. And then this is gonna go in the very outer corner of the eye, the outer V. And you just wanna do like a V shape. gives a little more dimension to the eye. Especially if you're doing the smoky eye, you really want to build it up. You don't want to go straight in with the black because then it'll just look like a black eye. You just have to really practice at this and just make sure you're constantly blending. It may take a little while to blend it out, but you'll get there. So I like to keep it kind of in that cat eye shape. Same thing on the other side. And then I constantly am looking between both eyes to make sure they look exactly the same. And then you can also blend it out with the other brush if you need to. Awesome. So then we're gonna go in with our silver shade. I haven't actually tried this one before, but I'm really excited. It looks super pretty. It's this one right here. I don't know if you can really see it, but it's actually really pretty. So for these, I like to use more of a flat brush so you can pack it on. We'll see how this does. Sometimes you need a primer underneath it, but and then you can also spray this with Fix Plus, MAC Fix Plus, to help it stay a little bit longer as well, which I'll probably try after I do a little layer of this one, and then I'll see if it can build it up a little bit more. You can also use your fingers on different ones too to make it stand out. So you can kind of see it, but it's still really light. I do want it a little bit more opaque, so we will try our MAC Fix Plus. It's just a little spray. Just kind of like to wipe a little bit of the excess off, and then we'll dip into the product. Oh yeah, that definitely helped. So I would pat this on when it's wet. It's super pretty. And then we are going to blend again with the darker shades after this, so don't worry if it gets a little bit on those other colors. We will blend it out. So I like to put that on the entire lid, and then same thing on this side. So you can just build that up as much as you want, as opaque as you want. I really like this silver, it's super pretty. So then we will go back to our shader brush, our blending brush. And I'm just gonna take that first taupey color again, just to blend it out. So you can go all the way to the inner corner again, and then just kind of blend it out just right above where you applied the silver. Dip in for the other eye. think that's looking pretty good. Pretty blended. I'll take a little bit more of the black just for the outer corner again. I'm very happy with that look. And then we do want to highlight underneath the brow bone. So we can just use like a lighter highlight shade. You can use the same highlight that we use on the face. And then I will use kind of like a smaller flat brush to do under the brow, just very slightly under the brow. You don't want to go into the black or the brown at all. You just want to kind of do the outer portion of the eye right underneath the brow. And then I take that same one and go in the inner corner tear duct. Not too much, just make sure your eyes look open and awake. After that, I will take kind of more of a pencil brush and use the taupey shade underneath the eye. You don't really want like a heavy look on top without adding a little bit underneath. You don't have to put black underneath, but I like to do a little bit darker, smoky, especially when I'm going out. It looks better in pictures, just so your eye stands out a little bit more. So I don't take it all the way across, I just take it from the outer corner, probably like mid right here. And then same thing, just blending that in back and forth. And then I'll go in with the black shade as well and do the same thing. You don't want to bring it too far underneath the eye because it'll start looking a little bit muddy. Like I said, just halfway again, blending it in with the top. Once you're happy with how that looks, then you're going to move on to liquid liner. So we're going to use the Tarte liquid liner today. We're just going to line the upper lids. I always start on the inner corner here and then bring it all the way across. And then we will do a wing with this look. I kind of like to do a little more dramatic when we are going with the smoky eye. And it doesn't have to be super perfect, especially since we're going to put falsies on. Same thing with the liner, you want to look back to this one and then make sure they're the same length and they're going in the same direction. And then I like to fill it in. Then we'll move on to our mascara. I will use the Petite and Pretty Fluffy Feathered Mascara. This just makes the lashes look super fluffy and full. Just kind of coat the top and bottom lashes. And then you can layer up this mascara. It layers very nicely, especially on the bottom lashes. You want them to really stand out with this look. Awesome. Really like how this eye look is turning out. It's really pretty. Nice for going out. And then also you can line your waterline as well, which I will do today. You can do it before or after the mascara. We do have our Essence pencils here. I actually haven't tried these. They're brand new to me. We have a lighter one. This is a silky nude, and then we do have the black love, which I probably will go for the black one today. For daytime I would use the lighter one, but since we're going for the full glam and night out look, we're gonna go with our black liner. And this one does say that it's waterproof, so it will last you if you're crying. So I just gently pull down a little bit and just line the waterline. And I just like to go all the way across, so you can kind of see the difference there. Just blends it all in together, especially if you have a liquid liner on. Looks really nice. Perfect. Next we will move on to our lashes. Alright you guys, so lashes are on. They really made the look pretty. So last but not least, we are going to line the lips, and we will fill in with a matte liquid lipstick. So this one is from Ofra. It is the shade Sanibel. And then the MAC is Boldly Bare Lip Liner Pencil. So just want to line the bottom lip, and then we'll move to the top. Just go around your natural lip shade, and then if you want to make the appearance of bigger lips, you can lightly shade right outside your natural lip line. I kind of like to just fill in the lip with a lip liner just to make your lip last a little bit longer as well. Pretty, you could just do the lip liner on, honestly. But we will go in with the liquid lip, which is pretty much like the same color. But I just love this one. It's so creamy and soft on the lips. Perfect. That really brought the look together. Oh, it looks so good. When you do a heavier eye, I really like to do more of a nude lip. You could do a neutral shade, even like an orangey or really pretty. Like a light pink would look really nice with this look also. And then to finish off, we will use the Morphe setting spray. Alright you guys, so this is the completed look, the Flawless Full Coverage Foundation Routine. If you guys did like this video, please like and subscribe down below, and I'd love to see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.